Alright everyone, so as you may know, there's not that much information on a Jeep Liberty for disassembly and all that stuff, so I'm here to try to help you all with some of that stuff. I took off almost all the panels in here. I'm going to try to explain how I got them off. I'm going to explain how to take off the footwell panels on both sides. They're the same basically. The cargo area. I'll explain how you take off the doors, front and rear. They're both the same method. The interior here by the dash, I'll explain how you take out the instrument cluster, and then you take off the top dash piece right here. And then I'll explain how to take off the trim piece that goes around the steering wheel that is also connected to the vents. So those all come off in one piece. On the other side of the car, over here I'll explain how to take off the glove box, or how to take it out rather, and then how to take off this vent piece again that covers up the tweeters on both sides, and then the dash piece also. Lastly, I'll explain is that guy. So we'll actually go over there and start with that side first. Anyways, so right in here, this is going to be connected. There's going to be a clip on the top section right there. There's one right there. So get behind this trim piece. Plastic panel removal tool, like I said, highly invest in that because it's the most used tool in here. Pop that out, pop it out this way. And then with the stock radio, the aftermarket one doesn't have this. Stock radio, you can see right here, there's another clip right next to the opening. It's gonna clip in this where it extends out right here, but since the stock radio doesn't have that, that clip's just gonna be free hanging now for me. But you, for the stock radio, just pop it out right there, and on the same thing on this side, just pop out that clip. Down here, you're gonna want to be careful. There's gonna be a clip, a permanent clip that's on this trim piece. That's going to be situated inside here, and the same thing over on this side. I actually ended up breaking my clip, as you can see right there. I just epoxied it. And how you take out this piece right here, I took it out once just to put on a switch for my pods on the corners of my windshield. There's going to be a clip in the back, one in the front, and one over here, and one over here. The way I did it was you take this corner, you pop up. I'm not going to do it now because I just don't want to take anything else out of here. And then you're going to pop it up right here too. And you're going to take that trim piece and you're going to slide it back, because the slot that the clip goes in up here is much bigger than the actual clip. So you can slide it back if you were to keep this trim piece that's up here still in place. And then you can pop it out and then remove it. It helps if you have the shifter back. Like I said, drive second or first gear, and then you can take it out. And there's a connector for the four-wheel drive, and then you just pop it out. Same goes for this trim piece up here. Just pop out these pieces, and you can remove the entire trim piece by itself. For the head unit, you're gonna find four Phillips head screws, or I think they're, I forget what size, but you can also use a socket. Next in the car, I'm going to explain is how to take out these pieces with the A-pillar. So this pillar, there's a clip right here next to the airbag. Be very careful with the airbag. Don't puncture it. Don't rip it out. Just be smart with it. And so once you pop that clip out, you're going to pull it. So a good way is to get behind right here and then pop it out that way, and it pops pretty much straight out. And then it's going to slide out from behind the tweeter and the vent area, and you can take it out. But it is connected by this thing. It's like a little, I don't know. It's to hold it on when the airbag's deployed, but I took it off so I could have more access. And then since that's out, you're able to remove this trim piece. And you first want to take out the clips in this. This is going to be up here, and you're able to get your pry tool underneath here, and you're gonna find the clips and just pop them up, every single one of these. And once this is popped up, I don't know if you can see back here, but there's a spot for this to screw in. So be careful pulling off this trim piece, because if you start yanking at it and you don't know why it's coming apart, it's probably because this is still screwed in. The way I took it off, there will be a clip right here on that piece I just took out. There's going to be one down here, and then there's one on the other side right here, up there, and you can pull everything out. So I'm just trying to give you a vantage point of where to pry things. The next step is, if you want to take out this instrument cluster right here, I don't know if you would or not, but I did, so I could rewire my tweeters and stuff. But there's a screw that goes in right there. Same thing down here, and then right there, and there's one in every single corner. I think it's a Phillips head screw, and then you can just remove the whole instrument cluster. And then this is what it looks like back here. So the power wire, I connected here, got my fuse. I put some of this plastic, what do you call it, protecting, insulating thing on it. Wire loom, that's the word I was looking for, sorry. And it just runs through this grommet right here into the interior. And on the inside of my car, I have it running from up there, down there, inside this track, all the way, like the other side, all the way to the back into the cargo area. I just use zip ties along the way. I also ran my accessory cable, which you can see right here. This is to turn on the amp. This goes all the way up into the dash, behind the head unit, and connects to the amp turn on wire in the wiring harness. This is needed to turn on an external amplifier. Alright, so next up is the doors. So I'm at the driver's side door right now. I just kind of put up the door just for demonstrations, but normally it's going to be like this. You're going to take your panel tool, you're going to pop it off, and then it slides like that, and you can pull this out. Up here in this corner, there's going to be a bolt right here. You take out that bolt, and then the last thing on here is down here. This little tab right here is going to be, you're just going to remove it with a small screwdriver, and on the inside is a hole for a small screw. Take out that screw, and that's the last thing you had to remove. So now you're going to take the door and you're going to pull up and then out, and then don't pull too far because you got to disconnect the wires. Once you disconnect the wires, you're done. The reason why you got to pull up on the thing is because the door is situated into these little brackets, so you got to pull up and then out. So that's how you do the doors. The doors are the exact same in the rear. You got the bolt up top right there that you have to unscrew, and then you also got the little tiny screw somewhere down there at the base. On to the next part of the car, which is the cargo area. So this area may look daunting, but it's pretty easy. So up here behind this thing, you're gonna have that little carpet plastic piece that bends up and down with when the seats move up and down. I'm trying to explain it since I don't have it here with me, but that piece you just grab and pop. It just pops right up. It was actually way easier than I thought it was gonna be. That pops up, so you're gonna be able to see the bare ground, and then after that, there's gonna be a panel that runs all the way over all this stuff. The panel is held in by clips up here. There's a clip right here, and there's two clips down here, and there's a few in the middle just to keep the integrity of the panel. You first start off by taking off the panel. There's a panel that runs from like here to here, and you pop that off, and then you can get to the panel to pop down and then away from the wall. Same goes for down here. There's gonna be another small short panel, probably 2.5 feet long, and you pop that up, and you can do the same thing you did up top and pop it away from the door. I didn't remove the seat. It's really hard to get this panel out without removing the seat. It's just stuck in place, but anyways. So this panel is going to be going over this stuff like that. And then the top panel, I forget if it overlaps this panel or if it goes underneath. I'm thinking it overlaps, but either way, one of these is going to overlap the other one, and you're going to have to kind of separate them, like push one this way and then push the other this way, and then find out which way to pop it loose, because there's that little tab that likes to hold it in place. So it's going to be a little difficult if you don't have all the other clips removed. So you're going to have a clip right there, and there's another clip right there. And then on the wall, just take your plastic removable tool and run it on the plastic grommet, or the plastic gasket, sorry, and pop it loose as you feel pressure from the clips. And the front is the same thing. It has two overlapping, and you have to pop them out. I'll explain that. So the one panel, there's a clip in there, right there. There's one right there, and then one right there. Sorry about that, right there. And you're gonna pop them up right here, and then on the inside, you pop out, and you can pull it out, and then you can move the panel. So on the passenger side, this is where I ran the RCAs and the speaker cables. I'm currently still running these speaker cables. I gotta run 2 more sets to the woofer and then the tweeter on this side. But once I'm done, that's all I got. I'm gonna explain how to take out the glove box here. Let's see these tabs here on the side of the glove box. Push these in while you try to move it down, and then you can make it pivot down all the way like this. And once it's in this position, you're gonna pull the glove box towards the door. So you're gonna pull it this way, and it'll slide on the track, and then you can remove it and take it out entirely. So I took it out so that I could wire my RCAs and my speaker cables up into the head unit compartment. As you can see, you got the RCAs, and then you got I think a mic wire right there, and then this is the auxiliary cord. They run up there, and then if you can see right there, they run right there, down here underneath the carpet, and then along the track on the inside of the car. So the top dash panel is going to be connected all the way across to this other top dash panel, and it's going to be clipped in, I think, with one clip right here. Here are the points where you got to pop the clips up. There's one right there, there, and there. And then other than that, that's fairly easy to remove. You just kind of pull it out this way, and that's that. Same thing on this side with the vent area and the tweeters. The tweeters are going to be situated in this hole, and this whole vent compartment is just a little smaller than the other one since there's no steering wheel. This whole compartment is attached to a screw right here. So remember to remove that screw, or you're going to end up damaging your vent panel, is that's going to keep it in place. Okay, so when doing this install, I just figured I didn't know any better, but I just figured you'd be able to run wires right through the boot. Well, I was wrong. The boot is connected to a big molex that takes up the entire cavity on the door. So you can't run wires through, it just gets stuck. So on this boot, I'm not going to take off the rubber, but I'll show you where my speaker wires are. You can barely see them right there. They, see if we can focus. I had to find an empty slot in this molex. I have a few pictures of it, so I'll throw them up right about here. And the speaker wire runs through the molex, and then to the other side, flip you over, sorry about that, right in there. And so you can see it. Where is it at? Right there. And it runs into this hole that I made. I just used a hot nail. And then it runs into the boot, into the door. What you're gonna do, I'll just explain it right here. take off the rubber boot. There's a clip or a tab right there. Push that down. Push down the tab that's below it over here, and then you can pull out the thing. There's the molex. Then you drill your hole for the speaker wire, run the wire through the boot, and then put on the rubber gasket before you clip in the molex, because then all you have to do is to go like this, and it clips back into place and seals against the door. The same goes up for the up front speakers and the boot, but I think this time around, since there's less area to work with and room to move around, I'm actually gonna have to take off the door and then remove it and then wire in the wires. But other than that, those weren't that bad, but they were, I don't know, it was a big speed bump I ran into. So the pillars are attached by a clip, which is, where is it at? Right down here. I think there's another one on the other side. And then up here, I don't know if you can see that, this is where a screw's gonna go in. So it's gonna look like, where's it at? I'll explain it over here. It's gonna look the same as this. So this piece is gonna be all the way up here, right? Okay, so you see that little half circle, half moon type shape thing? Take a screwdriver and pop that loose, and you're gonna look inside and see the screw that's up top. You're gonna undo that screw, and then you can pop off the thing. It's the same thing as up here. There's a screw that holds on that panel. So I got sidetracked from the cargo area, but the actual bin, the big cargo bin thing, is only attached by this bolt and then this bolt, and then it just kind of situates itself back here. So you take these bolts off and you can remove the whole panel itself. The subwoofer box, there's a bin that sits in here. I have it on the ground right here. It situates itself like this, and I unscrewed it, took it out. This right here is the little rubber gasket. This gasket goes in the back of the box right here, and normally there's going to be, I think it's 4 wires that go through the gasket, and they are molded into the gasket, so I had to drill out those factory 4 wires. I think they're this color. I just drilled them out so I could run my own wires into it and put the new sub in. Up here, you're gonna have a factory amplifier. I took that out since I'm not using it anymore. It has no use for me. Lift gate. Take out this screw. It's a torque screw. Same over here. And then before you go any further, remember to disconnect these defroster cables, both sides. And then you're just gonna hold the frame or the door, the metal part, and then give this a good yank down on both sides, and you'll hear a bunch of clips pop. And then this will probably be still stuck back here, and they're clipped in with like 4 or 5 across. So you're just gonna pull that down, and it comes off really easily. Ran the new camera from here up, and there's like a little slot right there, and then you can actually run it where this clip goes underneath into the car's frame. You can run the wire right underneath it too. So that's what I did, and I just reinstalled everything, ran the wires through the boot. This one does not have a molex connector, so you can just run it straight through, and you can see it's right there is there's a little connector for the backup cam. I just ran it down. There's a ground right there on the right side, and then there's a good ground on this side. Other than that, that's it. So yeah, hope this helps. I know there's not much on our vehicles, the Jeep Liberty, but I'll put more information on lost Jeeps too.